welcome. You're watching India Upfront. I'm Padmaja Joshi, and as promised, we are back on the road with India Upfront, and we are in Karnataka today, starting with Bengaluru, because this week itself, the south of Karnataka, including the seats of Bengaluru, are all going to vote. It's an extremely critical election, but is the narrative being set not just in the state alone, but across the country in faraway Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh? Let's begin by wishing all of our viewers and our guests here a very, very happy Hanuman Jayanti. Greetings to all of our viewers. It's also very interesting that the entire country, after Pran Pratishtha, celebrated Ram Navami, and today it was Hanuman Jayanti. All the political parties also put their most pious foot forward. So we had Sunita Kejriwal offering prayers at the Hanuman Mandir in Connaught Place in New Delhi. We also had Shivraj Singh Chauhan and various other candidates also praying to Lord Hanuman. The BJP across Delhi organized the chanting of Hanuman Chalisa at multiple polling booths across the national capital. But it was also the occasion where the Prime Minister, speaking in two different states, first in Rajasthan and then in Chhattisgarh, hit again at the Congress's Achilles heel, talking about how there is no freedom to practice one's religion, to celebrate one's festival in Congress Raj. He referred specifically to an episode that took place here in Karnataka, where a man was allegedly beaten up because he was playing the Hanuman Chalisa too loud. But then the Prime Minister also brought in an extremely touchy topic about how reservations for the truly deserving, for the backward, were carved out purely for the purpose of appeasement. Listen in.
तुष्टीकरण, वोट बैंक की राजनीति एक कांग्रेस के डीएनए में है। तुष्टीकरण के लिए कांग्रेस को दलितों, पिछड़ों, आदिवासियों का हक भी छीनना पड़े तो वो एक सेकंड नहीं लगाएंगे।
वो तस्वीर है कांग्रेस के शासन वाले कर्नाटका की। कुछ दिन पहले वहां एक छोटा दुकानदार, उसको सिर्फ इसलिए बुरी तरह से पीटा गया, लहूलुहान कर दिया गया, क्योंकि वो अपनी दुकान में बैठे बैठे हनुमान चालीसा सुन रहा था। ये कांग्रेस की कर्नाटका की सरकार का काम देखिए। अपनी छोटी सी दुकान में एक गरीब आदमी भक्ति भाव से प्रभु हनुमान जी का स्मरण करते हुए हनुमान चालीसा सुन रहा था, उसको लहूलुहान कर दिया गया। आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं, कांग्रेस के राज में हनुमान चालीसा सुनना भी गुनाह हो जाता है। कांग्रेस के राज में अपनी आस्था का पालन करना भी मुश्किल हो जाता है।
Now remember, right from the 22nd of January, the BJP has doubled down against the Congress on this one theme, starting with the boycott of the Pran Pratishtha, then attacking the manifesto as a Muslim League manifesto, then again talking about wealth redistribution through the prism of who will this money be given to, and now talking about the extremely emotive issues of practice of religion and of reservation. The binary being set is, when you are talking about affirmative action, is this real affirmative action where the truly deserving are being addressed, or is the only interest a political one to target and appease a community where backward people are having their rights or their reservation and their quota taken away in order to give to one vote bank. The Congress and other opposition parties, though, are in a very studied fashion, as they have. Remember, the India bloc has been very clear that this is a trap, and this is a trap where the BJP wants us to come and bat on their pitch, and that's simply a favor we are not going to do them.
First, let the poor man Manmohan Singh has done his best to help the people of this country. Modi ji, let he tell what he has done to contribute to the welfare of a common man.
Now, if we are all brothers, should we be drawing distinctions like the Prime Minister is doing? Does he not? Why should it be appeasement if I look after my brother, especially if he's not doing well?
ये हार का रुझान है। मैंने इसीलिए कहा कि इलेक्शन खत्म होने के बाद इस तरह की बात करना हमारे लोकतंत्र को कमजोर करता है।
फिर चली गई गाइस।
First, let the poor man Manmohan Singh has done his best to help the people of this country. Modi ji, let he tell what he has done to contribute to the welfare of a common man.
Now, if we are all brothers, should we be drawing distinctions like the Prime Minister is doing? Does he not? Why should it be appeasement if I look after my brother, especially if he's not doing well?
ये हार का रुझान है। मैंने इसीलिए कहा कि इलेक्शन खत्म होने के बाद इस तरह की बात करना हमारे लोकतंत्र को कमजोर करता है।
फिर से एक बार अपीसमेंट की पॉलिसी के आधार पर वो आगे बढ़ना चाहती हैं। चिदम्बरम ये नहीं कहते हैं कि सीएए में क्या बुराई है, हम सीएए हटा देंगे। क्यों हटाना है? क्योंकि उनको अपनी माइनॉरिटी की पॉलिटिक्स करनी है, माइनॉरिटी वोट बैंक को मजबूत करनी है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी अपने सिद्धांतों पर अटल है। हम किसी के साथ अन्याय नहीं करेंगे, सबके साथ न्याय करेंगे, परंतु तुष्टीकरण भी किसी का नहीं करेंगे।
जब कांग्रेस का ये परिवार सुपर पीएम बना हुआ था, डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी देश के प्रधानमंत्री थे। उन्होंने किसके इशारे पर कहा था कि देश के संसाधनों पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। आप देश को मुसलमान और गैर मुसलमान के नाम पर, अल्पसंख्यक और बहुसंख्यक के नाम पे बांटना चाहते हैं।
Congress party's manifesto has been prepared in a way that they win election in Pakistan. The manifesto is more for the people of Pakistan, less for the people of India. To come for a public debate to show that this manifesto is nothing but appeasement.
All right, so is this a trap being set by the BJP for the Congress in particular and the INDI bloc in general? And is this really going to find any resonance with the voter? Joining us on India Upfront today from lovely Bengaluru, we have with us Prashant GS, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, author Anurag Naidu, also with us political analyst Syed Asad Abbas, NG Sudhindra, spokesperson of the KPCC, and Abdul Razak Khan, also a political analyst. I will start with you, Mr. Sudhindra. Why is it that the Congress always goes on the back foot, whether it be the issue of the Ram Mandir, whether it be about the manifesto, or now about the issue of reservation? What was the Prime Minister talking about? Basically, when in Andhra Pradesh, you carved out a separate Muslim quota. It was right here in Karnataka, which the BJP, when it was in government, decided to scrap. There is also a similar quota that exists in Tamil Nadu, where the Muslims have been classified as backward. The argument is, how can an entire community on the basis of religion be described as backward? Is this not tokenism, which is actual appeasement? Mr. Sudhindra.
No. See, firstly, I would like to say the kind of topics that the Prime Minister picks up to as a narrative that he is setting for the country, in itself is shows that he's on the back foot. Because see, as evident, when you go to the election, when anybody goes to the election, it's a general practice that they come out with what they have done. Here it's a question of 10 long years. So he should have given an account of what he has done in the 10 long years. He should have come out and said what I promised in 2014, 2019 and what I have delivered so far. Instead, he's sticking to his favorite, topics which we feel he's on the back foot. Because he's seen the writing on the wall, because it is very clear that, see, I will just pick up one example. In the entire country, he picks up one very, very small Hanuman Chalisa issue. Very, very small Hanuman Chalisa to show that Hindus are, targeted or something. Is this right?
Hindus are not small. Hanuman Chalisa is not a small issue, Sudhindra. You can't undermine Hindus.
One at a time, sir. Let him finish. Yes.
No, I'm talking of the incident in itself. In the entire country. I mean, is it unbecoming of a prime minister to speak like this?
You think it is?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely. See,
any individual being beaten up.
Allow me 10 more seconds.
Any individual being beaten up.
I will dare the prime minister in the first phase of the elections, where 100 odd seats went to the, went to polls, when in Tamil Nadu and other places. Why was this rhetoric missing? Because in those seats, the majority of seats were decided by the minorities. So he didn't want to set that kind of a track there, because it is very evident that he's doing it purely for votes.
4 seats in Bihar went to polls. 8 seats in Uttar Pradesh.
It is nothing. It's got nothing
seats
to do
in Rajasthan with the Muslim population went to polls.
It has got nothing to do with the kind of agenda that he's picking up. Now, what he's doing is a plain rhetoric. He's seen the writing on the wall. He knows that BJP is losing this time. He knows that, as a party, BJP in itself, I'm excluding BJP from NDA. As a party, BJP itself is on the back foot.
Fine, they may be on the back foot, but answer the charge that you play footsie with one community, even at the risk of taking away the rights of others. The simple question raised today. Why did you take away the quota of the truly backward and give it to Muslims?
I will just sum up what we have towards the minorities in our, manifesto this time. In broad, what we have is
a reservation.
We have said, what we have said is a fair share of opportunities we will give it to them. Economic empowerment we will do. Inclusion of more languages and freedom of choice of food and dress. You tell me, where is the appeasement in any of these summaries?
I will come to that in a second. Reservation. If you claim to be the voice of the backward, why would you carve out a quota for a community and call an entire community backward and take away the rights of the OBCs?
That quota needs to be separated from the main issue here. That has got nothing to do with the kind of narrative what Prime Minister is speaking.
Okay.
That quota, what you are speaking, was specifically done to at a state level where, it needed. It was needed as per the demography of the state.
When the government brought it in, it was struck down by the court, wasn't it?
When we speak of minorities, there is a religious minority, there are a linguistic minority. So it doesn't just represent, when you say minorities, why your entire focus shifts just to one community?
Okay.
That is also wrong.
Okay. Now answer this. Why bring it up now? If you cared about this quota being carved out, you could have spoken about it in 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23. Why bring it up 10 days before polling is to happen?
Padmaja, it's not about the timing. It's about the issues on the ground and the appeasement politics of Congress, which has to be brought to the notice of the people time and again. It's not that we're not bringing it, because our BJP, our Jan Sangh's manifesto also had Article 370, also had Ram Mandir. And then Congress was mocking, saying, BJP says, Mandir wahi banayenge, Tariq nahi batayenge. Then we said, Mandir wahi ban raha hai, Tariq hai 22 January. Then what did they do? They boycotted the event. For what reason? They said, we will not attend the event that is not secular.
Talk about reservation.
I will come to that.
Why are you worried about it now?
No, I'll come to that. See, whatever Congress has done is only for the appeasement politics. Take their manifesto, it reeks of probably a replica of what Muslim League would have had if they had a separate Muslim nation. And then, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in 2006, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in 2006 was on record to say that Muslims have the first right on the resources of a country. How come a Prime Minister can make that statement in 2006 and say, we will not let the majority have it, but only the Muslims?
I'm asking you a simple question. These are old statements. This was made more than 10 years ago by the then Prime Minister. The quota issue is also 10 years old. The question being asked of you is that you know that this emotive issue is what is going to make people forget about their bread and butter needs, and you bring it up in order to address to what is called the baser instincts. You know, this whole हिंदू खतरे में है, हमारा रिजर्वेशन खतरे में है, हमारी जॉब्स खतरे में है, हमारा पैसा खतरे में है, हमारा मंगलसूत्र खतरे में है. Why bring it up now?
See, it is definitely not a rhetoric. It is the reality on the ground what Congress ruled states and Hindus face there. Take the situation in Karnataka, what happened on Ram Navami day. People traveling in a car were stopped and the youth said, there is no Ram, Sirf Allah. All the challenges are played on record. So which means wherever Congress is ruling, they are giving a free hand to radicalize and make it probably a Islamist nation. They are not even looking at India as a country. Whereas Prime Minister Modi looks at all communities, and when we give Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Jal Jeevan Mission, Ayushman Bharat, there is we are not discriminating based on religion.
Okay.
Every poor gets it. Every poor gets it. And we are not discriminating because according to the Prime Minister, we believe we have only 4 castes.
Okay, let Mr.
Annadata, Yuva and Nari Shakti. And not only appeasement like Congress.
Let Mr. Sudhindra respond to this. You're saying, why bring it up now? He's saying, I'm bringing it up right now because a man has been beaten for playing Hanuman Chalisa, because a person who was doing, Bharat Mata Ki Jai, Jai Shri Ram inside his car was stopped and said, only Allahu Akbar.
See, there are two.
So this resonates.
There are two angles to every incident that has taken place. Let the police investigating. Let the law take its own course if there is anybody to be said. But then this, as you rightly pointed out, that Hindu Katre mein Hindu Katre. See, I am also.
So you're only picking up on my convenient part. That
No. I'm analyzing
it. You.
No. I'm giving it. I'm telling him.
I'll ask you a simple question.
See, I'm also asking
the
him.
BJP goes out and says, look what the Congress is doing, and then you come here and say, such a small incident, one boy beaten up for playing Hanuman Chalisa. Suddenly the voter is thinking,
see, what I'm saying,
me being beaten for playing Hanuman Chalisa is small for you.
There were two angles to this episode. What is Hanuman Chalisa episode? Police has a different view. Local MLA had a different view. So let the truth come out. See, if there is anything wrong, law will take its own course. Anybody, if it is Hanuman Chalisa, whatever, it should be. But as an Hindu, the Hindu rhetoric, what they are playing, see, 600 years, this country has been ruled by Mughals. 200 years, this country has ruled by the British. 70 years, Congress has ruled. I am a Hindu. And I am proud to say that I am a practicing Hindu.
History starts with Mughals. They don't talk about
just a minute.
The civilization we had 5,000 years ago.
Okay.
They don't talk about
what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say,
starts with Mughals.
my Hinduism is so
Okay,
strong.
let him
What I
finish,
meant
then
to
I want
say
to
is,
open it
my
up.
Hinduism is so strong that, no ruler or no one person can come and, bring it down. It is the kind of fear that you are putting in the people's mind. I am a practicing Hindu, and I proudly say that, my Hinduism is so strong that, no one person can come and say, no one person, election of one person cannot put my Hinduism down. It has a legacy, it has a history. Now, only in the last 10 years, where this narrative came up,
Okay, just for the benefit of our viewers, this is Lakshman Savdi. This was Lakshman Savdi.
Where this narrative came up is the narrative came up in the last 10 years, only to put fear in the minds of people.
Okay.
Hindu Katre mein hai, to iska vote dalo. If you have the guts, if you have the guts, come and say, I promised you jobs, I gave you jobs. I promised you smart city, I gave you smart city. I promised you this and I gave you that. If you have the guts, let it. It's a cowardly
Just for the
talk by the
benefit
Prime
of our
Minister.
viewers, what was being spoken of was Lakshman Savdi in the presence of Mallikarjun Kharge in a public meeting said, I hope Mr. Kharge doesn't take it otherwise, but I want everyone to raise their hands and say Bharat Mata Ki Jai. That was also quoted by the BJP as a symbol of the same kind of mindset. But again, I come back to the same point, Anurag Naidu. Here is the BJP saying we are 400 par, 400 par. What is the need to go back into history, to dredge up things, to demonize the Congress? Everyone knows. Everyone has voted for Manmohan Singh government or voted them out in 2014. Now, why are we going back to 2006 and again reminding people, देखो ये लोग appeasement करते हैं, ये लोग बुरे हैं, हिंदुओं को वोट नहीं देना चाहिए. Surely there are better things in 2024 to seek votes on the basis of.
Surely, Padmaja, there are better things, but Congress has to present it in their manifesto. What is the manifesto saying? Free में हम ये बांट देंगे. What is the manifesto saying? हम reservation दे देंगे. Freebies के अलावा मुझे बताइए, what is there in the reservation? You tell me tech parks are there. You tell me what is the plan to make India the third largest economy? Today is the fifth largest economy. Yeah, you know the picture looks to me, Padmaja, is like घर बसाने ही लुटेरे आ गए. मोदी जी ने आज फिफ्थ लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी बना दी. 92 billionaires live in Bombay, 57 in Delhi. इंडिया इज अ होम फॉर 150 बिलियनर्स. जमींदार है इंडिया. ये मुझे दिखाता है कि गांव में एक जमाने में होता था कि ये जमींदार के घर है, गांव वाले जाओ डाकू और लूटो. तो कांग्रेस व्हाट दे आर ट्राइंग टू डू, दिस काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रॉन्ग फाउंडेशन प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी हैज मेड. द अटैक इज ऑन द फाउंडेशन कि हम you know, they don't want to see India's growing. Now see the cities of Bangalore. We are sitting here. The kind of revolution and infrastructure development Prime Minister Modi has brought in, the kind of stature that India has globally today, it is unprecedented.
So why aren't we talking about that? Why are we talking about
people have to be
this
reminded.
boy was playing Hanuman Chalisa and he was beaten?
I will tell you.
Okay, don't tackle him now. I protected you. Please let him finish.
No. Padmaja. But the whole point is, the first time voters, the record number of first time voters, they need to know what is Congress up to. The Congress is not fighting election in Pakistan and Afghanistan. It makes sense to give freebies in Pakistan and Afghanistan, not in India. India जमींदार है. India आज वर्ल्ड का 5th लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी है. आपको शायद हजम नहीं होगी ये बात, लेकिन समझने वाली ये बात ये है कि even 2009 election Congress won on the back of the poll promises to give waive of the farm loans. Congress never spoke about doubling the farm income. It was Prime Minister Modi in 2014 who spoke about doubling the income.
So what are you attacking? Are you attacking their profligacy or are you attacking their appeasement? We need to be clear about that.
Padmaja, appeasement in every way, every sense, Tushtrikaran appeasement is in the DNA of Congress. It is very much visible.
So the argument is we need to hark back to 2006 because first time voters need to be reminded कि आपका DNA क्या है.
Firstly, Padmaja, it's a beautiful time. Hanuman Jayanti है and I'd like to wish all my beloved Indians Hanuman Jayanti की आप सबको शुभकामनाएं. And you know, to me as a proud Indian, I would say Jai Hanuman Gyan Gun Sagar, Jai Kapis Tihun Lok Ujagar. I believe there is no Bajrang Bali versus Ali. Bajrang Bali भी है, Ali भी है, Ramzan में राम है और दिवाली में Ali है. The same reason why Karnataka today is with the Congress party, which speaks of inclusivity and not diversity. Also, आपका जो सवाल है उस पे अनुराग नायडू भाई साहब बहुत अच्छे स्टैटिस्टिक्स दे रहे थे. He was speaking about billionaires, millionaires. This he has exposed the BJP party. This is the suit boot sarkar where 1% own 40% of India's wealth. Not just that. 5 people in India are billionaires. Yes, they are. But what about jobs? According to the International Labour Organization, 83% of urban youth are out of jobs. You don't speak of jobs, sir. You keep blaming the Congress party. अगर एक Congress party तो power में नहीं है 10 years. Modi ji is in power. What are you doing about it? 83%, my friend, no jobs. Let's speak of employment. Allow me to complete my point, my sir. Sir, allow me, sir. Sir, let me tell you one thing. Padmaja, can I please make my point, please? Allow me to make my point. The fact is, today the Bharatiya Janata Party and the NDA juggernaut is rattled today by the strong undercurrent, which is with the farmers, with the unemployed youth. That is why Modi ji कहते हैं कि infiltrators, ज्यादा बच्चे वाले. अरे मोदी जी, आपके खुद 6-7 हैं फैमिली में, अमित शाह की फैमिली में 6-7 बच्चे हैं, और उसके साथ अगर आप हमारे आदरणीय वाजपेयी जी के इसमें साथ हैं, तो ज्यादा बच्चों की बात नहीं करें तो बेहतर है. The fact of the matter is, if you are going to show Muslims and infiltrators, if you are going to say urban Naxals are going to attack your Mangal Sutra, that is not the statesman Modi ji is. Let me share an anecdote. My friend had been to Dubai. When he came back, he said, Abbas bhai, हमको, and by the way, he's a Muslim, he said that Modi ji के नाम से हमको इतनी इज्जत मिल रही है. Today Indians are looked upon. And when Modi ji speaks the same language of घुसपैठिया, infiltrators, it truly hurts me. I see Modi ji as a विश्व गुरु.
सबका साथ सबका विकास हो गया. आप कह रहे हैं कि मोदी जी की वजह से दुबई में इज्जत मिल रही है.
But मोदी जी यहाँ पर ये घुसपैठिया कहते हैं, Muslims पे एक आरोप डालते हैं. It truly hurts me. When we speak of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, when we speak of one world, one family,
he didn't say Muslims actually. He said
it is clear if you see his speech completely. It is clear एक direction. The same man who said writers are identified by their dress. To me, who looks up to a Vishwa Guru like a Modi ji. To me, who looks at statesmen like a Modi ji, who brings respect to Indians across the length and breadth of the world. To me, it hurts when, because of petty politics, because he's rattled that India might just lose the election.
Okay, Prashant, response. Here is somebody who's acknowledging that in Islamic countries, India is gaining in stature, and yet this kind of election partisan politics is going to leave a bad taste in the mouth.
Padmaja, definitely on the world map, Modi ji has shown what India can be and what India is and what India will be. So therefore, nobody can take the credit from Modi ji for having put India on the world map. And we have seen, even during a war with Ukraine and Russia, PM Modi could intervene and get Indian students back. So that's the kind of influence he has. So even in the Islamic countries, people respect Modi ji because he stands for everybody. He is not for appeasement, but he only brings out He brings out the dual standards of Congress in wanting to make use of Muslims as a voting bloc and not do anything for them. Because I repeat again, in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Jal Jeevan Mission, tell me, have we discriminated based on caste or religion? No. Every Muslim woman also has got the same dignity and respect in Awas Yojana, the houses, Jal Jeevan Mission, when 11 crore toilets were constructed. Are you saying that Muslim women were not beneficiaries there?
It's important to say
Ujjwala Yojana, Matru Yojana, all these schemes which are intended benefit to Nari Shakti, Matru Vandana Yojana,
I am glad,
and
Padmaja,
all of them. Are you saying that no Muslim women
I
are
will not
benefited?
import
And
that
moreover,
this is-
one more
I
last
will tell
point.
you about
Triple talaq. Are you saying that Modi ji cut the regressive practice and gave a dignified life to Muslim women to say,
So, Abdul
no
Razak
fellow
Khan-
can say talaq, talaq, talaq and throw his wife out?
Just a second. Abdul Razak Khan, I have a specific question to ask you. Even Syed Asad Abbas is recognizing that across the world, people are acknowledging that the lot of Muslims has become better, that there is engagement with Islamic countries. The question that the Prime Minister is raising over here is, do real upliftment, do not engage in tokenism. Tokenism is of the kind where you say, 4% Muslim quota we will carve out of OBCs. We will get 3% Muslim quota. As opposed to the percentage of Muslim employees in government jobs has actually gone up between 2013 and 2023. The number of scholarships, the school enrollment of Muslims, especially girls, has gone up in the last 9 years. Do that. The Congress should announce and say, we will have X number of Muslim girls getting scholarship. Great step. But to carve out a quota and say, this will be for Muslims, that will be called out as a piece.
Madam, entire credit cannot be given to Modi ji himself because the world is developing, people are developing. Earlier, we never used to send our girl children to schools. Now we are forcing them to go to schools. Now let me tell you one more thing. Whatever Modi ji speaks, is not something like a truth. Now let me tell you, it was Modi ji himself whose slogan was Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. Later it was Modi ji who brought up the name Pasmanda Muslims. We have to do something, go reach for them. Now, day before yesterday, when you listen to his Rajasthan's speech where he says infiltrators, ज़्यादा बच्चे पैदा करने वाले, मंगलसूत्र भी छीन के इनको दे दिया जाएगा. I am saying this is not expected out of a Prime Minister after 10 years
But
of
in the same day, he also spoke of Pasmandas. When he was in Aligarh, he said...
But what did he do, madam? What did he do, madam?
Actually, over...
Madam, tell me one thing where Muslims are benefited under Modi Sarkar in the past 10 years. I can tell you an endless
that
list.
the enrollment, do you
Madam,
know?
you're talking about triple talaq, which has not benefited even one woman. Madam, if somebody gives talaq, you go and jail him. Who will take care of that woman? Will Modi ji give her money?
This is
What is happening? Those women came out on road.
Okay. Sir, this is the same kind of logic as saying Dowry Act mein if somebody is jailed for claiming dowry, uske बीवी बच्चों का क्या ख्याल रखेगा?
Please listen to me. The moment the woman...
Please tell me, please repeat me.
Madam, the rule was framed in such a way that not only the woman, any relative can also go and give a complaint.
What is your point?
My point is that neither triple talaq has fetched anybody in this nation, nor 370, not even 370 people are benefited out of, revoking Article 370.
Okay.
It
People
was,
are not pelting stones in
This is
Kashmir,
not
Razak
about
bhai.
whatever you speak,
Kashmir has become peaceful now.
whatever you speak, you have to
Kashmir has
live
become
by
peaceful
that.
now.
It cannot be a jumla.
You can question the outcome, but at least the intent here was the benefit of the Muslim community.
No, madam.
What
No,
was the
madam.
intent?
Now let me tell you,
What was the intent of saying that
it
we
was
will
only
increase the
appeasement, Hindu
enrollment?
appeasement. I speak against the Muslims. I speak against the Muslims. You all, join together. Give me the word. Consolidate.
Okay, your rebuttal, then Anurag Naidu. Yes.
My friend of the BJP mentioned about the Awas Yojana, Ujjwala, toilets. Yes, there are no denying about it. Yes, I stand with the Ayushman Bharat scheme. In fact, I didn't make a point. But the fact is, जब मोदी जी करे तो प्यार, जब कांग्रेस करे तो वार. Why do they say कर्नाटका में अपीसमेंट हो रहा है? हम सरजमीने कर्नाटक में है. Let me tell you, गृह ज्योति, गृह लक्ष्मी, नारी शक्ति, युवन निधि, अन्ना भाग्य, ये तो सबको हो रहा है. वो कलिका को हो रहा है, लिंगायत को हो रहा है, मुसलमान को हो रहा है, सिख को हो रहा है, ईसाई को, सभी को हो रहा है. Now how do they bring in? The fact is, during the Bamai government, during the Yadiyappa government, you started to target the minority community. You started to Muslim, Hilal, Hijab, reservation, सब कुछ कर रहा था आप किस लिए? The Karnataka mandate gave a slapping answer in the face of them. They were defeated and they were trounced by the Congress party.
Similarly, people will teach Congress a lesson. Congress won't reach 40. We are aiming at 400. Congress is
400 par.
40. So therefore,
That's a jumla.
your ambition is 40.
Padmaja, very good point. Very good point.
Let's not get Pakistan into it. Totally unnecessary. Yes.
Abbas bhai, let's bring back to numbers.
Let's leave Pakistan out for a second. Yeah.
MP shouted Pakistan Zindabad. FSL report is there.
Let me tell
and
you.
you still have the audacity to say that we are not bringing Pakistan in.
Okay, Anurag Naidu.
Padmaja, let's come back to numbers. He mentioned about the latest assembly elections. Congress won. No doubt Congress won with a good majority.
Yes, thank you.
I will come back to the numbers.
You want Mysore back?
For the last 25 years, Lok Sabha elections, BJP has never got less than 17 MPs.
Now you are, sir. There is an undercurrent.
Sir,
your MPs are already
all the
panicking.
exit polls, all the
when you
pollsters
start
are
to
wrong.
lose, you do
Mr.
Hindus.
Abbas bhai is
You know
right.
that?
We will meet on June
happened
4th.
in
What I'm saying,
Mother case?
let me complete. Abbas bhai,
Possible
give me 2 minutes.
prediction.
Please give me 2 minutes. Please give me 2 minutes. If the campaign style of Prime Minister Modi is wrong, the people of India are ready to teach a lesson. Are we all ready to take a challenge? We'll meet on June 4th to discuss on the numbers. Tell me one exit poll. Tell me one exit poll, Padmaja. Even Congress internal exit poll that is giving majority to the Congress. Tell me one exit poll.
Okay,
You cannot.
I don't agree with this.
One more
Going
thing.
by your logic then, the fact that the Congress won in the assembly election in Karnataka is a validation of the Muslim quota. Because they carved out a Muslim quota, they won, which means that people have stamped their approval of Muslim quota.
No. So let's understand. Nobody's telling Muslim quota or any religious quota is not a political issue. Should not be a political issue. For that matter, the schemes of Modi government or the schemes of Siddaramaiah government, if it is benefiting Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, is absolutely good. Welcome gesture. We are not debating that at all. We are debating a larger narrative. We are talking about a national election. We are not talking about a state election. We are not talking about a state.
Anurag Naidu, I'm glad he's accepted that it is working, implemented. Yes, सिर्फ जुमलेबाजी नहीं, promises पूरे हुए हैं. The fact is, when the Bharatiya Janata Party, no, allow me to complete, sir. It's not fair. Prashant, I didn't speak. He's speaking in between. He's not allowing me to complete. Padmaja, he's not allowing me to complete.
And earmarked for SC/ST welfare
Okay, now
for the guarantee scheme.
let me answer. Now I'll tell you. I heard him. Now my turn to speak. 30 seconds, Padmaja. The fact is, when Bharatiya Janata Party is rattled in Karnataka, Padmaja, let me tell you, all BJP leaders like Tejasvi Surya do Hindu-Muslim. Today, a Bijapur MP, Ramesh Chandappa, you know what he said? When he was asked, Ruxana was killed by a Hindu man, he was impregnated, and the baby was thrown away. What did you do? He said, Bijapur MP of Bharatiya Janata Party, Ramesh Chandappa, says, we work for Hindus. Bharatiya Janata Party, Hindus gay, not for minorities. Answer that. No. Answer your leader.
Talk about what happened in Hangal.
No.
Talk about what happened in Belgaum. Talk about what happened in Kodagu. You don't have the audacity to bring out these episodes.
Padmaja, BJP
Congress corporator's daughter is killed due to love jihad, and these people don't have the audacity to say that.
Okay, so as of today, each party has taken a very, very clear stand. Is this only rhetoric which is limited to the elections, and more importantly, is this a trap that the Congress finds itself falling into every election season simply because they cannot step out of a historical zone that they have found themselves hemmed into? How can that change? I'll leave it to your wisdom. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining us.